Okay, let me bring down this music. Hi there, this is Jim the Keys Bartender, attempting to recover his computer. It doesn't matter, it's ready to go anyway. It's a beautiful day in Key Largo. Luckily I have a backup, I have a Chromebook. I just pretty much wiped my laptop down all programs, and I got to start all over again. But luckily I didn't have a lot on my laptop. I just use it for the podcast, and everything's remotely secure on its on the site that I use for broadcasting, the Spreaker app. But I'd like to thank you for listening today. It's a beautiful day in Key Largo. I guess we're in the mid to upper 70s. It started out cool, beautiful, light breeze, maybe 10 miles per hour, and one of those perfect days to go out. And it's like that right before the Super Bowl. And you know, the Super Bowl rolls around. It's a big bar day, especially for sports bars, Super Bowl parties and stuff like that. For certain bars, right? You got to have a lot of TVs. You got to have a lot of block pools going and shit like that. Down here, there are a lot of Super Bowl parties at people's private residences. So we lose a lot of people to those things because, I have a friend of mine, Damien, who used to be the manager of the Fish House Encore, has a lovely one. He puts out a big screen television and, booze and food and all that stuff. And it's incredible. Just a lovely, lovely setup there. And multiply that by, 200 in the Keys, in Key Largo. With the average of 20 to 30 people, right? And then the people that are just watching it at home. So we've taken half the population out of the mix to go to bars. So for a place like the Catch Restaurant, it's not very busy. People ask you, doing something big for the Super Bowl, and saying, you're not gonna come to the bar on the Super Bowl. You're gonna invite it to a party. And then people opt for a party because there's no charge for any of the drinks. Just the way it is, right? Well, it looks like I did a number on my laptop. Well, this was a laptop that had to replace the hard drive for, so I think it's pretty much done. It's a Dell, and I'm probably going to scrap it. It's, how old is it? Maybe 10 years old. And, which, it should last more than that, but it's a touchscreen. It did pretty good. I used to have a problem with the sounds with that. I just got to get something that's maybe a couple years older. Like I said, I'm not a big believer in just throwing out stuff because it's old and buying new stuff because it's new. So, yeah. And luckily, it's good to have a redundant system. I got my Chromebook. I got my daughter's Chromebook. So I got to get another laptop, it looks like. If I intend to do, and I do intend to do, remotes from different locations. Once the coronavirus thing kind of rolls back. We could still do it. They're doing radio shows from different places and all that. And they're probably keeping their distance, and hopefully they're keeping their distance from radio shows, not bringing people in. You got to wipe down that mic. That is a big deal. The microphone. Should use like a windsock or something on it. Make sure that things are... here I am messing with my laptop. There's no... It's dead. It's just a blue screen right now. So, let me see. Nope. Nothing's going on with that. It was dying. Just a matter of time. Man, it's always that thing. I get a new car, new used car. Got to get that fixed. I got to get rid of my old car, and that was funny. You heard yesterday, or the travails with that. I had a guy who I made a deal with, and I told him I hold it for him, and he came back with someone to look at it, and they reiterated the things I said that were wrong with it before, and they were trying to beat me down on the price. I don't like using that ethnic term for saying you're going to bring down the price, because all different types of people try to beat you down on the price. I've done it before too. If I found out something new about something I was going to purchase, I said, well, that kind of drives the value down, doesn't it? So I also had that person call back, and they want to deal with me again, and I'm kind of reluctant to do that. And I think they're kind of fucking around with me on my on Facebook Marketplace. They're contacting me under different auspices, and one person, they you may know the thing, if you try to sell anything online, right, if you've done anything like that in the past, you will let me see, I'm going to see if I can bring up anything on my screen on my laptop. No, it's dead. Control, maybe control some, no. All blue screen. Function keys aren't working. Alt. How about the alt keys? No. Should I try to fix it? I don't know. If anybody's out there is an expert and they listen to this recording, just tell me, what should I do with this? It's still lighting up. I just don't know. Maybe the hard drive's gone. Who knows? But it's funny. The virus protection was working. And I think since I had the virus protection, that's the one that got everything screwed up. See, once I paid for the virus protection, the computer went to shit. So I'm going to shut this off, leave it off for a little while, see what happens. So Super Bowl's rolling around, you got parties and stuff like that. People asking, what is your bar going to do? We don't try to do anything, lay out any type of spread, because we know it's not a big enough population down here where people come out and we take care of it. And we'd just be stuck with a bunch of stuff on there. If we did a buffet and all this stuff, we did an open bar. That down here, an open bar would be so dangerous. But I guess it's dangerous any place. I have so many Super Bowl party remembrance. I had a friend in Philadelphia who would always ask me to bartend his Super Bowl party. And that was a good time. I used to meet girls there and stuff like that. I did it maybe three years. But I enjoyed going to Super Bowl parties. I mean, that was a good place to meet girls and stuff like that. Girls would show up on that. It was right around Valentine's Day. People always reevaluated their relationship once, like on New Year's, Christmas, and Valentine's Day, or anniversaries. So, Super Bowl being right, most of the time it's right before the Super Bowl, is usually a great time to meet girls, because they're usually the ones that the relationships were on, let's say, life support. They're done by then. They don't wait till Valentine's Day, and you could find out if a guy's not with a girl on Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, a girl's not with her boyfriend, the chances are she doesn't have one. Right? So, or, small possibility the guy could be working, like me. I'm working on Super Bowl Sunday. I don't mind it. It's not that busy. I get to see somebody, and I'm working. I don't make any extra money, but then again, I don't drink anymore. So going to a Super Bowl party and watching people drink, they used to get hammered. Because at house parties, who's the worst bartender? For a lot of people, you're the worst bartender, meaning you pouring the drink for yourself. Unless you're someone that has great self-control. But what happens is when you're the one pouring drinks for yourself, your inhibitions go out the window the more you drink. And the more you drink, the more you pour yourself. And it's just a endless feedback loop of booze and booze and booze and booze. And I would just, at the end, I would pour myself a drink. It would be like a half a cup of vodka. Unless I'm forget about bourbon. Oh, I hate it. I can't pour myself drinks. I always pour too heavy. I used to pour quadruples, not doubles. In a double, people always argue with me with double because you shouldn't give anybody a double. Three, even though you shouldn't charge them. So a double, in a lot of restaurant terminology, double is 1.5 times a pours. So if it's 1.25, it's almost 2 ounces of liquor. When you give someone 3 ounces of liquor and they're drinking like 3 of them, it's like having 6 drinks. You drink 3 drinks in an hour. It's like drinking 6 drinks an hour. And then if you do, of course, just play that all the way down there. And then I don't know where my pants are. Can you drive me home? Where's your key? I don't know where my keys are either. Or my car. Or my girlfriend. It's just one of those things. As Super Bowl parties. Some of the worst ones. I've seen some guy making predictions at Super Bowl parties, sitting next to one of his very good friends, reported good friends, and he's making bold predictions, and he just kept on getting louder, 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 and the guy just turned around and slapped him. Right? So the guy didn't respond to it, which is kind of I hate to say it, I'm a kind person, but it's a bitch move. If a woman slaps you, you extricate yourself from a situation, right? There's something in Philadelphia, if a woman slaps a guy, or any place, there's a good chance, because the guy punches him in the face. But a slap does not warrant a punch in the face where you can break something. I've seen slapping contests and stuff like that on television where they wind up and slap each other. But normally a slap is superficial. You may leave a red mark. But a good punch could do some permanent damage, concussion, and can punch him hard enough you actually can kill him or her. So, but if a dude slaps another dude, holy shit! It just puts it in another thing. I'm a peaceful guy, but you have to make a point of this aggression shall not stand, because otherwise you're done. Right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Hey, look, I bring up my computer, and I know there's something left on it because the picture on the screen comes up. So I know there's some kind of hard drive there. The point is, it's like a dog watching a can of food that may think it's theirs, but it just doesn't know how to open it. Right? That's the situation I'm in right now with this. So it brings up the screen, sign in options. Let's see what that is. Maybe I can sign in as another person. Let's go to sign in options. Okay. Where is sign in? Maybe not sign in as myself, right? Or let's see, magnifier, narrator, keys. The Wi-Fi is working. Okay, it's connected and secure. Huh. Let's see. Maybe I can get. Okay, that's. What? Oh. Let's go. Let's turn this off. Let's see. This is interesting. Shut down anyway. Let's see what happens. See, yeah, my password my password stopped working on it too. Interesting situation. So, wherever you're going for a Super Bowl, be careful out there. Be careful driving and drinking and all those sorts of things. I won't make any predictions because who knows? If it's raining, supposedly it's going to favor Tampa Bay because they have a better running offense. I don't want to see Tom Brady take... I mean, it's amazing that he's playing at 43. I don't think he needs any more laurels. Right? He doesn't need any more awards or things that, make him great. He's already great. And there's only a couple quarterbacks out there that have more than one. They have one that are still active that have one Super Bowl win. That's Nick Foles and Mahomes. So Mahomes would, as a young age, he would have to win 5 more, even tie Tom Brady. And I would wager if Tom Brady doesn't win this year, it'd be a little harder next year, but not impossible. Considering there's a thing about getting old that it's harder to come back from small injuries. You don't have the recovery capability. But then again, with medical science, who knows? I mean, it's just like, you got your joints, you got your cranium. You got to watch out for. It's just like an old bartender. You got to. I went to the gym this morning, and I rode. I used one of those rowing machines. I rode for like 25, 26 minutes, and then I ran for about 25, 26 minutes. But I use elliptical. Not because I have a problem with my knees yet, because I don't have a problem with my knees, and I don't want to have a problem. I don't have a hip problem yet. Most of them are kind of like muscle things, but the eyes aren't so sharp anymore. I'm just trying to keep the lungs at capacity, especially with COVID-19. It's really important to maintain your health, and who knows what else could come along the line, right? You got to be careful. And I am considerate of, mindful of the aging process. I realize I'm not working out like I did when I was in my 30s or 20s. I'm in my late 50s, so you got to be careful. I mean, the powerlifting, anything that, if you do any damage to your ligaments and stuff like that, that's a major surgery. Rip something. Things get brittle. So I always told people that, be careful when you get in a fight with an older person, because they don't, they'll try to stay out of the fight, but if there's a fight, they don't do it for fun. So they may try to get out of it as quickly as possible. And that means that nothing is off the table when it comes to fighting. You got to be careful. And, luckily I haven't. Usually people are a little respectful about that, but then if someone's pissed enough, they'll do almost anything. I've seen young guys go after older people sometimes, and it's just, just the way they are, especially when they have diminished capacity. That happens when you're drinking. So at this point in the program, I'd like to point out that the Catch Restaurant at mile marker 102 in Key Largo is an excellent place for you to stop if you're in the Keys. Once again, it's at the mile marker 102 Oceanside. They're open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. They have many classic seafood and non-seafood dishes. And if you have your own catch, many times happens when you go on one of these charter boats or you cruise on your own boat, bring in your filleted catch and they'll prepare it any of the different ways that they offer it. And you can ask them that. And they'll, do it nice and stuff like that. If you're with a group of people, they can set up with a family style, restaurant. Family style serving on a platter. It's nice. So, come to the Catch. And they have great happy hour. 3:30 to 6:30. This pin is correct or incorrect. What is going on here? Let's try this again. I may have changed my pin. There we go. Sign in option 7-3. Oh, that's why. Put in password. Oh, screen's back. How the fuck did that happen? Huh. That's fucked up. It's all, the whole screen's back. And I was ready to, give this whole thing away. Okay. I am at a loss for words. You've seen, you've heard firsthand. Yeah. As a mirror. I didn't do anything. I changed some of my settings and this and that. And it was a blank screen. And now, let's see. Let's see what happens here. I was having a problem bringing up my programs. It's as if it healed itself. But we know that. Well, maybe a all-knowing artificial intelligence said, you know what? We're going to stop fucking around with him today. Let's fix it. Yep, it's working. I couldn't bring up any of the programs for the last day, and now shutting it down, resetting the thing, seemed to work. Wow. I shut it down several times. So, whoop-de-doo. I have no idea what I did. See? I didn't show you pictures, but I did tell you what was happening. I told you what was coming out. And you can trust me. This is what happened. I get a blank screen, this, that, and now it's all back to the way I left it 2 days ago. Funny. What is it about me and technology? But then again, I didn't throw everything out. Okay, I can shut this down, I guess. I'm not using it right now. I'm using my Chromebook, so I guess we live to fight another day. Now, the hard part of it is with this, is if I was doing a remote and I had to work, how many times you got 2 hours to do this if this just happens one time? I've had it happen a couple times. I've had the hard drive crap out on me and things like that. It's like a law of averages. I'll probably have to get another one anyway just to have a backup. That's the way to go. Maybe get a MacBook or something like that. And like I said, it's the only thing I have on here. It's nothing. I don't have anything I really need. I try not to overtax my systems. I try to do many of the things on the cloud so it doesn't reside as much on a hard drive, because you can lose those hard drives. Obviously, you can lose your access to the cloud. You heard the story about the guy that had a Bitcoin fortune, but he had a security password or something that he didn't have access to anymore. And he had that on a hard drive that he didn't have access to anymore. He disposed of, and it might be in some kind of dump. And he looked to the legal system to try to get him to try to get legal recourse to search the dump for the hard drive, because he was pretty sure he'd be able to, Jesus Christ. Imagine that, storing everything that you have in a fortune on this one thing. How much? Well, imagine the guy must have had other resources, because if you had millions of dollars sitting in some kind of fund and you store it in one place and you decide to throw that out. I've done that with things like keys for locks. Matter of fact, I was going over my keychain. You ever do that? If I can get a keychain, you keep on holding your keys, and you got your apartment from 1987, you still have the front door key to it. You got to fucking let it go. You got to think, how many locks do I have for these keys? I got a lock for my shed, I got a lock for my house, I got the top lock, I have a lock for my place of work, the front door there. And it's just keychains are just reminders of things in the past that happened to us. You look at it, you say, well, and you don't even know what does this key belong to? What did this key belong to? I'm sure there was a key from an apartment I had about 15 years ago on there. And I took it and I didn't even throw it away, and I just put question marks. Because I hope the key, stop messing around with this lid. I hope the key or the lock on that apartment was changed. I'm not going to my old apartment and check if the key still works. There's some legal repercussions of that, and it's just creepy. Well, I just wanted to see the explanation. I just wanted to see if that key still worked, and I was going to give it back to you, so you had an extra key. And you can hide it somewhere. Don't tell me where it is. There's another thing too: the hide a key. I mean, as you get older and you start hiding keys, you're like, wow. Where am I going to remember where the key is when you start hiding it? People, how many times I walk out of a room, I walk into a room looking for something. Immediately, if I get distracted by something else, I will forget what I went in for. That's been going on forever, ever. It's amazing. You've heard me talk on the podcast. I could be following this train of logic, and all of a sudden, I'll start talking about, let's say, SpongeBob SquarePants. And I won't remember what happened. Funny he says SpongeBob SquarePants because Patrick's house was just a rock, and underneath it, he just laid underneath the rock, flat. But that would have distracted me before, but I remember the hide a key. People put it on the cars and stuff like that. Now they have smart keys, and you have your smart key, and you walk up, you walk to the door as long as you have the key in your pocket or on your person, and it's a foot or two, a couple feet away. You hit the button, and it's going to unlock. It's great, But once you're inside the car, it's funny. You really can't lock it. If you lock it from the inside, I wonder if it overrides it and stuff like that. I don't know the whole story. Because if you have the hide a key and you're inside and you lock someone out, you still have the hide a key. If someone hits the button, will it unlock if you had locked it? If you lock it from the inside, it should override that system, but who knows? And, some car, it's funny. I'm going to segue eventually from that to how much shit, where I'm getting my used new car fixed at the dealership, and they gave me a loaner. And there's so much shit going on with that, like warning when you go into the other lane if there's another car. I've yet to merge into another car in 41 years of driving. So now, anytime I move a little to the left or right, it gets a warning. It's nice to have that stuff, but in the back of my mind, these driver assist lane thing and all that, it's just delaying the inevitable until there's full autonomous driving, right? And there are some people that have Teslas and put it on self-driving mode, even though you're not supposed to be self-driving. They prop the wheel and stuff like that, or go to sleep and lean back and sleep, which is stupid. If you really want to do that, get a dummy or on your lap that looks kind of human, tint your windows, and just attach the wheel, the hand to the thing, and you drive. That'd be, you could put a mannequin there. It may not look too, but from the front or through the tinted windows, it may look like a real person. But you're leaning back. You have non-tinted windows, and you're leaning all the way back in your seat, and you're driving by people and stuff like that. I think I don't even think you could probably lean back that seat that far to get. And I think the Tesla would warn you or something about that. But the more we aid people, the less able they are to develop the skills of looking for blind spots. And what happens when they go into a car that doesn't have those driver's assist or warnings or brakes? It allows you to go right up against the car. I see people drive right up on the ass of other cars. Right up on the ass. The 10 feet per 10 miles an hour, right? Because that's the reaction time. If you're going 80 miles an hour, you need to have 80 to 100, if not more, to change that distance. If that person slows down, it takes whatever for your eyes and your muscles to coordinate. Your eyes see the car, brake lights going in front of them. It sends a message to your brain, and then you have to send a message to your feet. It could be a split second, but you can cover a lot of ground in a split second at 80 miles an hour, right? If the car just suddenly hits something and starts, rapidly decelerating more than your over your brakes abilities to brake, you're going to have an impact. And that's where rear end is caught. It's almost always that. And unless there's a road condition like ice and stuff like that. And the most terrifying thing in the world for me is I haven't had nightmares about it, but I've heard that it's like a nightmare when it's icy roads and you're driving down the icy roads and there's a fog or something going on, or people are misjudging, and there's a pile up in front of them, and they're speeding, and by the time they speed and start hitting the brakes, their car's sliding, and it's very little they can do, even with automatic braking. If your wheels aren't grabbing, they're not grabbing. They're trying to do their best. The computer can try to do their best, but there's only a certain amount of ability that the vehicle has. So my best advice is to be careful. Be careful wherever you are. When you're people do bonehead things and stuff like that. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a deadly crash with some guy and another guy going 140 miles in excess of 140 miles an hour on this highway down here going south, and they hit a small crossover vehicle, SUV, and they hit it so hard, T-boned it with the motorcycle, that they flipped the SUV. And when they couldn't find the motorcycle, it's because the motorcyclist had penetrated the backseat of the car, and his body was in the backseat when it had was engulfed in flames, and they couldn't retrieve the people out of there because it went up in flames in under 30 seconds. So, your reaction time. There's only so much you could do like that. And someday that'll be a thing. We got supercars out there that can go, up to 300 miles an hour. But should they be able to go 300 miles an hour? No, they should not. That's ridiculous. 300 miles an hour. How much? 300 miles an hour. That's 5 times the closure rate of 60 miles an hour. You need to have a couple football fields to slow down going 300 miles an hour. Someone steps off the road, there's nothing, Someone's testing that. Where's the point? Where does it end? How fast does a car need to go? You're on the Autobahn and stuff like that. It's unsafe. Vehicles are unsafe at certain speed until every car is linked to the other cars, like normally, almost like through a neural link, where all the braking is decide to do safe distance. People say, I don't want a computer controlling my car. Well, people don't do that great a fucking job. That's the reason why there's so many automotive deaths on the road and stuff like that. But not everyone can afford those abilities, right? So here you go. There is the rub. Well, that's it for me preaching. This is Jim the Keys Bartender. I like you for listening. If you like the show, please share it with your friends. I'd like to thank all my listeners from overseas, from United Kingdom, from the Russian Federation, China, from all different parts of the United States, from Florida, Leesburg, Florida. Yes, Leesburg, Florida. Thank you. What was that? Pennsylvania. I wonder if that's Michael Ball up there, but I don't know. Friend up in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, maybe, and Washington, Virginia, and Elkhorn, Nebraska. I should say, hi, hello. And where's my other big places like that? Washington, D.C., Chicago, Boston. Thank you for listening. send us an email, jim@keysbartender.com, if you have any questions, and I will address them. I'll bring it up as a topic. I won't mention your name. I'd like to say hi to my friend Ted, friend Ted who contacted me about my notary services because he heard it on the show. I'm still waiting for my background check. I assume my background check's going well so I can be a loan signing agent. And if you are looking to sponsor a program, please send me an email, jim@keysbartender.com. Please, no spam, but that's the nature of the thing. You might get it. Till next time, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.